Well, as a founding member, could you walk us through like this initial motivation, like what drove you into training own foundational model instead of relying on something that was already available in the market?
We classify the LLM effort could be either one of the three. One is import OpenAI. So I use OpenAI APIs apparently, and that I use the off-the-shelf open source models, and then training on ourselves. Though the second and third could be combined with a continual training effort, which I'm sure we will cover later. We always talk about those popular reasons, such as the control in the data, and also other controls in other behaviors and or features of the model, for example, which modalities we want to cover. And the data actually is really important for us in Roche/Genentech, which is one of the biggest pharma companies in the world. And this area is a highly regulated industry sector, where we really need to know what we use and what we didn't use and how we process the data. And we can't just naively rely on the other people fully. At least we want to know. And as well as there's a lot of motivation for us to use our own data. So we have a lot of internal data, including some are like a semi-public, but still nicely organized in the company. Some others are fully private information that we would want to use during training. And that's, those two are the main reasons that we say, that everyone says. I think, though, the most important reason that we also wrote in and presented internally is the capabilities. So it's one thing to use those LLMs and understand what we can get out of it with the current APIs and models. But we argued, and we still believe, that it's really important to have our own capabilities to able to know, like to able to see, able to understand, able to even execute the training and deployment of the model, even though that means it's an expensive investment, because otherwise we just keep relying more and more about those AI progress in general. And we, as a 130-year-old company, we don't want to do that. And we are sure the leadership wouldn't also want to be just fully relying, because it's going to be an ongoing progress over time. And it's better to catch up now than later. Yeah, that's, I think, one of the very important reasons that not a lot of people talked about.
Yeah, actually, I had a similar kind of thought, and I wonder if you agree with this comparison. As I thought about it a little bit, as when the cloud kind of appeared, and people started to use, like, let's say, a single vendor, and it looks like it's so much easier than just maintain like own on-premise infrastructure. And then, at certain point, people realize that perhaps we need to go multi-cloud, we cannot be reliable. And then there's even now a movement into kind of, in a sense, backwards, creating own data centers and also having a hybrid approach, but not relying entirely on the cloud providers. And it somehow, I found this, there's a lot of differences, right? But I found a little bit of a similarity in this approach. But I'm glad that you are bringing it up, because it's certainly it's unpopular, because I guess it's about seeing much more long term rather than a short term gain.